even I don't even take her time here for granted as well. So it is a pleasure to have Winnie speak to us this evening, because Winnie is someone that whose story will inspire us. I think I'll invite her someday to speak about who Winnie is. But this evening we are talking about wellness and nutrition and issues to do with wellness. So I'm sure that we'll be able to learn more of this. So allow me to read a small profile about our speaker tonight. Winnie Taylor. Winnie W. Taylor is an internationally award-winning certified esthetician, trainer, and holistic wellness expert with more than a decade of experience across beauty, wellness, and fitness. She's a precision nutrition certified coach and holds a respected ITech and DESCO credentials. Winnie is the founder of By Winnie Training Institute, an ITech approved school, which is based in town. Agro House, I'm sure we all know Agro House. And Body by, she also owns Body by Evolution, a high-performance skincare and wellness brand recognized with multiple Kenyan beauty and cosmetic awards. She serves as the chairperson of the Spa and Wellness Association of Kenya, the SWAC. Through science, education, and mentorship, she helps people of all ages build healthy habits, confidence, and lasting results. So allow me, without much ado, to welcome our speaker tonight, Miss Winnie Taylor. Karibu sana, Winnie.
Asante. Asante sana. Good evening, everybody. Please wave, give me a thumbs up or something to be sure that you can hear me. Good evening, good evening. I hope everybody's good. Jade and JCV, thank you for the opportunity to be able to share. Thank you so much. I can see the thumbs up. Thank you for the opportunity to be able to share this knowledge. And you realize anything and everything about us at the end of the day boils down to our gut health. And I do like when we say gut health as opposed to then just talking about nutrition. So like Jay said, I come from the beauty and wellness background. The certifications is spoken about. The one is CDESCO, that's a Swiss accreditation in the beauty and wellness. ITech is a British accreditation in the same industry. And then precision certification in health, or rather in nutrition and all that. So without wasting much time, let me jump into it. And I would like to start the session with asking a question. And I've seen a question that I think Rispa has posted, and I think a very good question, and I'm going to be able to answer that. But when you hear nutrition or when you hear gut health, what comes to your mind? Quick, let's type. Quick answer. When you hear nutrition, when you hear diet, when you hear nutrition, do we hear diet? When we hear gut health, are we then just thinking food? What is it that we're thinking about? Please participate so we don't fall asleep. Good, something good for our bodies. Somebody says food. Okay. Somebody else? Somebody else, please. Talk to me, please. Okay. So we certainly are talking about something that's good for our health, and we certainly are talking about food. And when I talk about gut health, we're talking about rethinking nutrition. And a lot of times people say when they hear nutrition, they start thinking about going into restrictive diets, being prescribed for a particular diet that you need to follow. And really, that's not what it is about. So the gut health or rethinking nutrition, I want you to think about how your gut health, and we'll just fafanua that just now. It could be, gut health could be speaking to a lot of things. So I want you to think of yourself as a whole. Think of your energy, think of your mood, think of your skin, think of your immunity, think of anything and everything that has to do with you or that makes you. That's what gut health is about. And I would like us to take this conversation in a couple of parts, different parts. And I want to start with part one, why gut health matters. And I throw another question, and I'm sure you've all experienced this at one point in your or another in your life. You felt tired for no reason. You felt bloated after eating, right? You have experienced feeling a bit moody and not for any particular reason, nothing bad that has happened to put you in a bad mood, but you just feel moody. And for the women, I'm not talking about moody that we sometimes experience with that time of the month, no. Or even just feeling off. You're not sick, you're not tired, you're just there. In Kenya, we like to say, I'm just there, right? I'm talking about feeling these things despite the fact that you feel like you're eating healthy, right? So, and if you have experienced any of that, the issue could be hidden in your gut. So when we talk about gut, what are we talking about? Gut looks at your whole digestive system. So we're looking at your stomach, your intestines, your colon, and any other organs that are related to your digestive health or your digestive system. So your gut is a powerful ecosystem of trillions of bacteria, trillions of viruses and fungi. And that's what we normally call microbiome. So I might use gut, I might use microbiome, but we're basically talking about that whole ecosystem that, and when we talk about, if you remember from your biology, when we talk about your digestive system, we do know digestion starts in the mouth. I'm sure that's something you remember. And what we ignore, or sometimes what we're not aware, we may not know, is that your whole microbiome affects your whole well-being. And let me break that down a bit more. 70% of your immune system is in your gut health. 90% of your serotonin, and we know serotonin is the feel-good hormone, it's also produced in your gut. And we know your metabolism, your hormone balance, your cravings are all influenced by your gut health. So if your gut is not happy, the rest of you is not going to be happy either, right? So if you're not happy, your gut is not happy, the rest of you is not going to be happy. Which then brings us to part number 2, and that answers Rispa's question. Here we're going to look at, so we're saying if your gut is not happy, so how do we know if our gut is not happy? What is it that we check? What are the points? What is the checklist that we need to use to be able to check to see whether our gut is happy? So part 2, we're going to look at the common signs of our gut imbalance. Okay, so most of us, a lot of times we've walked around, we still are even right now, walking with some of these symptoms. So bloating after meal, we shouldn't, it's not normal. So if every time you eat and you feel bloated, your gut is telling you, please, I'm not happy. If you're experiencing gas and indigestion, also not happy, right? And we do know, for example, from the indigestion or even experiencing gas, that could sometimes come from eating some foods. There are people who eat beans and they're not happy. I also know people who eat cabbage and it will give them gas. So I'm not just talking specifically from the food, but if you just constantly, even when you haven't eaten those things and they're not working, right? If you're experiencing fatigue for no reason, we're assuming you're resting well, you've slept well, whether it's your sitting, your posture, all that, we're assuming all those things are in place, but you just keep experiencing fatigue and or brain fog. It's a sign that your gut is not happy. If you're experiencing constipation or irregular bowel movement, your gut is not happy. If you have food sensitivities or skin issues, again, it could be showing something is off with your gut. If you're craving sugar or carbs, that could be another sign. And once again, for ladies, this does not include just before around the time of our monthly cycle, we could experience some of these cravings. And that's that which related to hormonal to your cycle. It's not what I'm talking about. If the rest of the time you're always feeling like you're craving sugar and you're craving carbs, that's your gut is telling you something. And of course, if you have low immunity and you're always catching something, your neighbor gets a cold, you get it. On your way to work, in the office, you sit next to somebody with a cold, you catch it, it's telling you something. In the lift, in the streets, at a party, family, if you're the kind of a person who is catching to small infections here and there, it tells us your immunity is poor, and it's also a sign that your gut may need attention. So, Rispa, I hope that answers your question. How do you know? So, your question, I suppose, was more not clean, but we're not necessarily not clean, but let's look at it from not happy. So, if you're experiencing any of those, and I do know at some point in our lives, we've experienced one or more of those symptoms. So, we're not just talking about, and of course, if you're going to have issues like stress, and stress has kind of become normal and kawaida, that will also affect your gut. And of course, for women, and if you're already in the spaces of 40s and above, you're going to be experiencing hormonal imbalances that also which will affect your gut, or your gut is affecting your hormonal imbalances. It could be one or the other, right? And so all those symptoms are speaking to an unbalanced gut microbiome. So please don't run to the hospital and tell the doctor Winnie said something is wrong with you. No, we are saying, and what we would be our takeaway tonight is to get to know us and know our body, and then get to know what's going on. So that brings us to the end of part 2. And part 2, we have looked at the common signs that your gut is not balanced, which then takes us to part 3. So it's imbalanced, but why? What is affecting it? One, and the obvious, and that which brought us here tonight, is food. So although that would be the biggest one of the things that's affecting it, food, it is, however, not the only one. So the things that could be affecting your gut health is your food. So if you're not taking in enough fiber, if you're taking too much sugar, if you're taking too much processed food, it could be affecting your gut and causing the imbalance. If you're stressed, and we get so used to being stressed that we think stress is normal. So chronic stress will disrupt your gut lining and your bacteria. And the minute that is done, you're causing chaos and you're causing havoc in your body. So stress is not good for you. We are learning, or we sort of tend to absorb and live with it. This is why, as in the beauty industry, so when they tell you come for a massage, no, we are not just trying to sell. Come for a massage, relieve some of the stress that has translated into the physical tension and aches and pains on your body, while on the other hand, you may need to see a therapist or a doctor to figure out to help you. I mean, I'm not saying massage will solve everything. You need to take, the approach needs to be a couple of things. Then medication, if you're constantly sick and you're on medication, this is why we are told antibiotics are not good. This is where we're discouraged from self-medicating and going over the counter. And we're very good at that in Kenya. Going over, oh, I have a headache, give me this. Oh, the headache didn't go. I took this, so therefore give me this other thing. Oh, it's about to rain. I'm feeling like I'm starting to come down with something. Oh, I'm going to get antibiotics. So we do want you to take medication when you're sick. We do recommend, however, that you see a doctor so you're given the right medication to suit what it is that you have. But taking too much medication. So if we're able, we need to be able to heal our bodies, that our bodies can heal themselves without always having to rely on medication. But of course, if you need it, by all means, you must take it. So what else could be affecting your gut health? Movement. And I'm not talking bowel movement. I'm talking physical activity, because physical activity will help your gut motility. So physical movement is very important. We used to keep saying, go and exercise, whether you're stretching, whether you're taking a walk, whether you're taking aerobics, whether you're dancing, whether it's Zumba, whether it's Pilates, yoga, anything, whatever you do, doesn't matter. You need and you must start getting movement going. One of the things that we can look at later is a simple thing. When you eat at night you have your meal, you've had your supper. I promise you, just wake up, walk to the gate, walk around the compound, walk around the estate, even just for 10 minutes. You'll be amazing. Your body will start feeling better compared to when you eat and then you sleep. And this is why we always recommend, don't eat, if possible, 2 hours before you go to bed. We always say, just allow your body to digest. Even just moving around the house, go fold the laundry that you left, you weren't able to do. Go do the dishes instead of leaving them and, worrying about having to do them in the morning. Go do your walk around, do your ironing, getting ready for the following day in the morning. Movement is good for you, especially after eating. Please note, I'm not saying don't go lifting weights, don't go running, don't go jogging. Walk, just a bit of movement is fine. And lastly, in that list, your mindset and your habits, how you eat, where you are at in your mind, that will also affect. So part 3, we've looked at the things that affect your gut health. So we've looked at what it will happen if and when it is in balance, but these are the things that will happen. And the food, stress, sleep, medication, movement, and mindset and habits are not just affecting it in a negative way, they affect it in a positive way. Which then brings me to introduce you to what we call precision nutrition. So I was introduced as a certified precision nutrition coach, and precision nutrition is something that looks at, or it's a way, it's a method, it's a model of approaching nutrition that's usually not just the normal way we're giving you a diet, because nutrition is not about losing weight. No. So precision nutrition talks about deep health. We approach nutrition with something we call deep health. And this is where rethinking your nutrition comes in. What does deep health mean? So, like I said, deep health is a lens through which we approach the way we coach when we do nutrition coaching. And we're saying this goes beyond food and it's not about weight. In deep health, we address your physical health. We address your emotional health. We look at your mental health. We look at your social health. We look at your environmental health. We even look at your spiritual health. Because it doesn't matter how much of vegetables you eat, even the wrong environment, it's not necessarily going to go down very well for you. So deep health requires, or when we use that method, we are requesting, don't just look at your food as just food. Don't just eat because you're hungry. Don't just reduce the portions because you want to lose weight. We want you to eat food that loves you back. Food that when you put into your body is going to give your body good things. So we start with physical health. When you talk about your physical health, what are we talking about? Energy. If you're going to eat and you're always lethargic, you have no energy to go to work, you have no energy to engage, you have no energy to do life, that's going to be a problem. And if you're experiencing that, please start looking at what it is that you're eating. Physical health, I've just explained about movement. You need to start exercising. This has nothing to do with joining the gym. This has nothing to do with buying expensive equipment or expensive clothes, nothing. You could be skipping your rope. You could be jumping up and down. You could be stretching. It doesn't matter. You need to make sure that you're getting movement going. And I know Kenya, we think, traffic is bad in this town. Today was particularly very bad. So you're probably leaving home very early in the morning. You're getting back home in the evening. But like I said, there's nothing wrong. Get up, walk around your house, walk around in the compound. Of course, you need to be careful, your security and things like that. So physical health looks at your energy, your movement, and your nourishment. We want you to nourish. And when we use the word nourish, we are meaning feeding your body with the essential nutrients. So we're not eating for the sake of eating, but we are feeding it with essential nutrients, right? So that's part of how we're going to rethink. And this brings me, we're already in part 4, by the way, because we said we're approaching it in different parts. So we're already in part 4. So physical health, eating food that gives you energy. We all have experienced where you eat big ugali at lunch. What happens after that? Your body just goes, you just want to fall asleep. You don't have energy. You'd like to actually do that and go to sleep. And of course, we don't want to recommend that you're eating. So what does that tell you? Probably your portions, maybe ugali at lunch may not necessarily be the right thing, but it also could be what you're combining. I love ugali, by the way. So I'm not saying don't go eat ugali, but I'm saying we can look at portions. We can look at what it is that you're eating it with. Deep health looks at your emotional health. How are you feeling about yourself and food? So you came up and saying, you know what? I'm not losing weight anyway. So who cares? I'm going to eat. Are you always, and we know people who struggle with weight, if you're always thinking, oh my God, I'm going to grow so fat now, here I am eating these fries, that's not a good emotional state to be at or a way to think about food. So believe it or not, you do need to think positively. And when I say positively, that only happens because if emotionally in your good state. And what does that mean? Of course, life is going to happen. Things are going to happen that will put you in a situation that emotionally you may not be good, but we don't want that to be your default setting at all times, right? So watching, we have a lot of people, and we say it with pride, oh, you know me, I'm an emotional eater, which means the day you sing me eat and eat and eat and eat, it probably is saying I'm emotional about something. So what we are saying and what we actually do in coaching, if that's you, we're going to get you to address the issue that making you eat for emotional support, because then you're better off addressing that issue. So at that point, it doesn't matter what diet you're given, you're put on a diet. So even if you're eating well, because trust me, even if you're going to eat vegetables, don't overdo it. And when I say overdo it, we will come later to looking at how much food are you eating in a session, right? So your emotional health matters. Your mental health, we all know when we are stressed, we are unable to focus, we are unable to think clearly, we lose concentration, we're not able to give our best anywhere. I'm not just talking at work, with your friends, with your family, in the things, other activities that you do, whether for social and of course at your place of work. So are we going to avoid stress? I think that would be unrealistic to say that we don't get stressed. So what I am saying is, for your mental health, do whatever it takes. Go for counseling, talk to a friend, start journaling, deal with issues that are dealing, don't escape. We are not going to just say, oh, you know, the economy in Kenya is just bad these days. You need to make an effort, because we do need to earn a living, because that's the only way we can provide for ourselves, right? So address your mental health issues and take better care of yourself. Your social health is your support system. Whether it's your friends, whether it's your chama, whether it's your accountability partner, whether it's your church, whether it's your relatives, it doesn't matter. But more and more, we are realizing, and if nothing, folks, if you don't remember, COVID taught us that we were actually not wired. COVID taught us that we are not wired to stay in isolation. And what was interesting with COVID was, even isolating with our family, we were craving interactions with other people. So you were not necessarily stuck at home alone by yourself. You were with your family members, spouse, children, siblings, you know, whoever your family is. But then at some point we found ourselves craving outside interactions. So whether we're going to work, whether colleagues, whether friends, you know, whether the normal social things that we do. So it is important that even now, even as you're eating, even as you're addressing the issues that you have with your nutrition, that you're factoring in your the social aspect of your life. What does that mean? You're leaving work, go pass by, visit a friend, meet them for coffee and for a drink or whatever, get together, Go for that chama. Fine, mamas. If you're in a chama and you're fighting, it's okay. It's a social perspective. It's a social aspect of it, right? So whatever it is that we're doing for fun. So this calls us back to going, we've gotten so busy, we get so caught up with work that we forget to create time for play. And play is what? Whether you, including what are we doing for fun? What are your hobbies? What are the things you do for you? It could be that book club that you need to finally join so that you can have a physical meeting to discuss a book, and you find half the time, the hour for the book club, you probably, half of it, you are talking about other things and not necessarily the book. That social aspect of your life is going to be very important. And the other one, like I said, environmental health. What's your environmental health? Your surroundings. We've been told so many times, we are told, show me your surroundings. You're in a negative, bad environment. There's even a saying that says you cannot heal in the same environment where you were hurt. I'm not sure the word usually is hurt, but you know what I mean. So if something is happening in this space and you're trying to be in a better mental, social, emotional, physical space, and you're still in the same environment, you're not going to get different results. So you can't keep doing the same things and expect to get different results. So you need to get yourself or to remove yourself from that environment and put yourself in a better environment. Let me give a good example. You're in an office, you and your colleagues, they're always eating the wrong food that you don't want. So since it's a job and you're not necessarily going to leave because of that, you could address that by talking to them. Or ukaengumu, you decide, me, everybody else, when they are eating the wrong things, I'm going to be tough and make sure that I'm eating the right thing, right? So your environment, and actually, guys, when you think about it, we spend so much time with our colleagues that I think our workspaces are one of the places that we can change into an environment that's serving us, an environment that's nourishing us, an environment that's impacting us in a positive way. So your environment matters. Back in the family, if you're trying to eat healthy, make it a thing for the whole family. So you're supporting each other. So I'm not saying go on a diet, but then you're forcing your children to go on a diet, your siblings, to your spouses to go on a diet. No, but you can talk to them the need and the necessity for you as a family to be able to eat healthy so that it helps you. And lastly, when it comes to deep health, I mentioned spiritual health. And spiritual health talks about what? What's your purpose? Why are you here? Why do you wake up every morning? What are your values? What motivates you? And I can tell you guys, simple things like giving back. And any of you in this meeting today who has joined JCVs in one of the mentorship visits, you know how amazing that feels afterward. Not because you did something so big, you gave of your time, you gave of your effort, you gave of your energy, and it's so fulfilling. There is so much, including do something nice for a colleague. It could be you complimented them. It could be you made them feel good. But of course, please don't give compliments that are not there. Don't tell somebody how, let me say, like ladies, they're wearing a lipstick that absolutely does not, and you're telling me how nice it looks on me. So when we do give compliments, can we make sure that they are real, they are positive, and the fact that it's really coming from inside? So spiritual health, that your purpose, your values, your motivation. So it will keep making you rethink and relook at your life. What are you about? Are your values being seen every day in your life, right? And why does all this, you cannot rethink your nutrition if you're then not looking at those things. Because you can eat all you want healthy, but you're not moving. You can eat all you want healthy. We might even put you on a specific diet and you'll be great. But if your emotional and mental state is not good, it's really not going to serve you. If social, you're isolated, this is people are experiencing depression and they're not able to go out and maybe, they're feeling alone. That's not something that should be happening, right? So all this matters because it doesn't matter how good your food is if all those things are not served right. So number 4, we have finally looked at rethinking your nutrition. And there is where we visit or we look at the deep health model or way or lens, through the lens of deep health way of doing life. So it's not just about food, but it's about as a whole. And then we get into 5. And 5, we are going to find, so that we know what the issue of gut health is. We know what it is when your gut is not happy. We know what are the things that affect your gut. We now understand that we are going to relook at our nutrition, and we are going to use the deep health approach. So now, what would be the things we need to do that are good for our gut? What are the gut-friendly nutrition habits that we need to take? This part, I like to have that very practical, and I like to leave you with 5 points. And these points are evidence-based. Science evidence-based is not something I'm making up. It's not something we've been taught in class. This is evidence-based, right? And if you do these habits, you're already going to start feeling better. And remember, we are not assuming you want to lose weight. There are those who want to lose weight. There are those who want to have more energy. There are those who want to reduce the issues of bloatedness. There are those who just are feeling horrible. Could be even the skin is breaking out and they're not sure why. No matter your reason, or depending on what it is, why you want to look at this, the thing that made you come to this meeting today, any of these 5 things will make a difference for you. Point number 1, add more fiber in your food. Please notice, guys, I haven't said don't eat this, don't eat the other. I haven't said watch and weigh. We are not there yet. Let's start with the basics that you can do today, right now. Number 1, add more fiber in your food. And we want especially prebiotic fiber in our food. So what are we talking about? Your oats, your onions, your bananas, your apples, your sweet potatoes, your all these healthy foods. So basically, I'm talking vegetables, food high in fiber, your legumes that will give you proteins. We're talking about the nicer starch kind of family. So for example, instead of consuming too much wheat, we can reduce that. So when I say things like your sweet potatoes, you could be replacing, or instead of every day eating ugali, every day eating chapati, every day you could be eating sweet potato, but have that with your normal animal protein if you're not vegetarian, and of course with your vegetables. Feed your body with foods that are good, that give you the good bacteria. We know things like your yogurt, right? And the goal is, how do you know you're eating the right amount of fiber? Anything 25 to 30 grams of fiber daily. And you're talking from your breakfast all the way to your lunch. So the issue is not that you're eating 3 meals a day, that's a problem, and that's why you're not losing weight, or that's why you're putting on weight. The issue is you could be eating 3 times a day, but you're eating the food that's not serving you. Point number 2, another gut-friendly habit. Eat the rainbow. So we've seen now that the rain season is almost upon us. When we get the rainbow, and we all know the different colors of the rainbow and how beautiful it looks. So when I say, and I want you to think, I even want you to remember my hand going up every time you're putting your food. What does that mean? Make your plate exciting with a variety of colors. So different colors that will address different things. And let's give a simple example. If tonight your dinner is ugali, you'll have ugali. What can we eat ugali with? Greens, right? It doesn't matter, spinach, terere, managu, any of those things. It could also be like a portion of cabbage, a different color. What can we do? Like orange, you could, and I'm talking orange, your hohos, things like your colors, your red hohos, your yellow hohos. It could be, I want to say carrot, but I'm not sure ugali na carrot zina enda vizuri. But you get my point. You want to put different colors on your plate to make it look exciting, so that it's pleasing to the eyes, so that you also enjoy eating your food. So always try to have 3 to 5 colors of food in your plate. 3 to 5, right? Number 3, chew more, eat slowly. Because we are always this thing we are eating, and you're you're eating and you're checking messages and you just keep putting on your plate and you're just eating and you're not chewing, you're not taking your time. Biology, all of us in the Kenyan system, we have done biology told us digestion starts in the mouth. So when you're not chewing slowly, it means you're not starting your digestion properly. And we end up eating very fast, and you end up then swallowing food that in the end that has not been digested properly. It gives you discomfort, it will bloat you, it could give you gas, it could give you indigestion, any of those things. So in other words, what am I saying? Eat slowly. And I want to beg, we become slaves of our gadgets. I want you to not eat in front of the TV. I want you to not eat while on your phone. I want you to not eat in front of your computer, even if you're in the office. And I understand you may not be able to go away for lunch. Just switch it off. Face it away if you can't switch it off. And just sit and eat. And I want every time you're eating, I want you to start thinking, by the way, was I really hungry, or is it because my colleagues are eating? Am I eating because it's at 1 and my lunchtime is at 1? Have I had enough? Is it because I carried this amount and I realized I carried a lot, but I have to finish it all? So when you're present during your eating, it will make you start thinking about this. We were at a function the other day and I challenged the people who were attending, saying, I want to start chewing and thinking, can you pick whether there's dania? Can you pick whether there's garlic? Can you pick whether there's chili? Are you able to, and I'm talking about food you haven't cooked especially, because if you cooked, you know what you put in it. But even if you cooked and you know what you put in it, can you actually taste those things that you've put in the food, right? So how do we know that you're chewing slowly enough or you're eating slowly enough? Test yourself and try to chew 15 to 20 times per bite, meaning you've taken your spoon, and I want, as you're chewing, I'm counting 3, 4, 5, try 15 to 20. And if you do that, I promise you will feel that you've chewed your food and it almost liquefies. That's when you know you've chewed it long enough. So we're not able to say take 5 minutes to eat your meals, or 10 minutes or 30 minutes, but I want you to start by testing. And this is something you can do tonight, right? So start 15 to 20 minutes and you'll be able to see the difference. Good gut health habit number 5 that you can apply right now: stay hydrated. Water will support your gut mobility and your nutrient transport. We've all said, we normally say about 8 glasses a day. If you're taking things like your herbal teas, those can also count. What we will not count is the sodas and the juices, but if you can do 8 glasses every day. One of the things I do to help me take water, drink water every hour. 8, drink some water. 9, drink some water. 10, drink some water. What is the easiest, simplest way to drink water? I drink mine warm. It doesn't quench my thirst, and it allows me to drink water a lot more. And the reason I do warm, because otherwise, if I'm not feeling thirsty, I'm not going to drink my water. But if I'm drinking it warm and having it with a bottle, is a reminder that I constantly need to sip. The other secret to drinking water, folks, we don't want you to drink up, bottoms up, this whole bottle at once. Sip, actually just sipping. If you could just sip, leave it. Sip, because also what happens when you just drink, and it's done, shortly you're off to the bathroom. It will just go straight. But if you're sipping your water slowly, this is why I carry a bottle that's easy to carry around for women in our bags, or find a bottle or something with a handle that's easy for you to hold, and just keep sipping. And if you do that, and especially if you try that thing of every hour, most of us tend to work 8 hours in a day. If you do that from when you wake up to when you get to bed in the evening, because we also don't want you drinking water late in the night. Otherwise, you're going to keep waking up to go to the bathroom, and that disrupts your sleep, and we don't want that. So including one of my favorite tricks, and anybody who knows me knows that I give this. First thing in the morning when I wake up, First thing, most of us, we wake up, you go to the bathroom. The next thing I do, I have a flask, like the old school flask, where I'll keep my hot water, so that when I wake up in the morning, I put water in a glass, and the first one in the morning, I'm able to just drink up. And remember, you don't have time to fuff around, because you would need to get ready so that you can go to work. So that works very well. Wake up, go to the bathroom, wash my hands, come and drink my water, then start my day. So whether I'm showering fast, whether I'm eating breakfast fast, it doesn't matter. That really helps me. Your goal is 8 glasses a day. And then 5, and the last one here, reduce your ultra processed foods, right? So we're not saying they're bad. No, we're not calling them the evil guys, but too many of processed, or too much of processed food, what it does, it will feed the harmful bacteria. Remember, we speak about bacteria in our body, in our digestive system, in our gut. We have both the good and the bad. And this is why you're told, when you take your gut, it's good for your good bacteria. So it means in the body, we have both the good and the bad. So we want to feed the good. We want to starve the bad, so that the bad doesn't keep coming up, right? So what does that mean? We want you to eat more natural, or foods that are natural, as much as possible, and food that is not processed. And if you can even eat it as natural as possible, that's really great, right? So 5 takeaways that you shall be able to start right now, right here, is you're adding more fiber, you're eating the rainbow, have the rainbow colors on your plate, you're eating slowly. And sorry, fiber, we said try 25 to 30 grams, eating slowly. We are saying try and chew 15 to 20 times per bite. Oh, and by the way, when you're biting, don't hold the next round of food waiting with your spoon. As you're chewing, I want you to put your spoon or your fork back. If you're eating with our hands, like we do gully and a whole lot of other things, please don't hold the next bite with your hand. Once you've put that in the mouth, leave and let your hand be free until you're done. Stay hydrated. Aim for your 8 glasses of water. And by the way, the 8 glasses can also be argued that we can even go as far as testing to know the amount of hydration in your body, so that you know how much you need to take. And of course, depending on activities, that you're doing, but we're just saying the general rule. And then number 5 is to avoid or reduce the ultra processed food. That's really not good for you. And then part 6, mindful eating, and combining that with something I call self-leadership. We talk a lot about leadership. Oh, it's because I had a bad manager. It's because my boss is psychotic. Oh, we don't have good leaders. And we always project outside, or we look at outside, but we never think about us and what we can do for ourselves. If one person is corrupt, we don't need to be corrupt, right? If your neighbor is eating bad food, you don't need to eat bad food, right? So mindful eating and self-leadership. And once again, it's about you holding the fork, the spoon, the food. So what does mindful eating and self-leadership mean, or what do I mean by that? I want you to turn into your body. And this is where we are saying eating slowly. Those who have been at the last talk that I did somewhere will tell you that when you're mindful, you're present. I want, even as you're chewing, for you, if you've eaten dengus, a typical nice Kenyan meal is dengus and chapati. If you've eaten dengus, there's nothing but like when you're chewing and you chew a stone, right? So mindful is you're there, you're present. The slower you chew, you'll actually notice you're eating less because you're paying attention. It's almost like as you're chewing it and swallowing it, I almost want you to actually close your eyes and chew. And as you're swallowing the food, you kind of you can feel like when it hits the stomach, and you realize you're going to consume less food. And this is where I was saying mindful eating, when you're asking yourself, am I actually hungry? Am I eating because it's at 1? My lunchtime is at 1. Or am I eating because my colleagues are eating? Am I eating because I walked past? Near in our office, we have a lot of restaurants there. And I found the first time when we moved there, I was always hungry because of constantly smelling the food, the smell of food coming from the restaurant. But with time now, you realize, no, I'm actually not hungry. And now smelling that food, I should be able to go, that fish smells really good. Send that message and I'm done. I've acknowledged it. I like it. It reminds me of eating my fish, and that's it. Then mindful eating also says, am I full? Therefore, do I have to finish the food in my plate? And I'm saying this because also we have a habit of, look at when we go for funerals, we go for weddings, we are fighting on the queues and we are jazzing our plates, to hills of food. And then you finally eat and you leave it and you're wasting it. I want us to go back to, can you serve little food and go back for second helping if you have to? But ask yourself, am I full? And before you actually get full here, I also want you to eat up until you're 80% full. And you'll be amazed. And when you're eating, ask yourself, am I eating because I'm stressed? Am I eating because I'm nervous? Am I eating because I have nothing better to do? Am I eating? And when you ask yourself these questions, it means you're present. You're thinking about your food and why you're eating it. And that's where now self-leadership comes in. Just because your wife, your husband, okay, mainly wives serving husbands, just because your spouse has served you and they have put a lot of food on their plate, no, it will not be disrespectful to actually say, self-leadership will be, can I please reduce some of this? In fact, let me put it on the side. I can put it in a Tupperware and I can eat it tomorrow. And those of us spouses serving others, can we not fill their plates? And it's the same habits we're doing with our children. Il chakula lazima umalize. We are forcing children and they'll grow up knowing whatever is served on their plate, they have to eat it and eat it completely, even when they're full and they don't need it. So mindful eating. So that brings us to that last part, which is the mindful eating and self-leadership. And as we do that, time is actually going quite quickly. At this point, I want you to start thinking about what are some of these small daily shifts that you can do. Notice I have not said about don't eat this, don't eat the other. No, we don't need to go there. And that's where we go wrong when it comes to nutrition. Because we hear nutrition and you think, oh my God, I need to lose weight. And oh God, now I'm going to be told not to eat my favorite ugali. Oh, and I have to be on the rabbit diet, as we like to call it. No, it's not about that. That can come later. For you to build your wellness. And there's nothing in what I've spoken about tonight that cannot be applied even to the most little child that you have in your home. Because we want habits that support you as a family and you're able to do together. So as we come to a close, I want you to remember your gut is your foundation for your wellness or for your health. It will support you in everything you do, whether you realize it as or not. I also want you to remember that nutrition should not feel like punishment. Let nutrition be a way of self-care. So when we say nutrition, for the gentlemen in the meeting, it's not about women and them wanting to lose weight or losing the capotes or any of that. Women, if you're here, you're a woman, and if you're 40s, you already know how hard that's already getting as we, start with the hormonal imbalance and things like that, perimenopause, and of course, your menopause, you already know the story. And you don't have to change everything. Tonight, I did not say don't go eat fries. No, I'm saying eat your fries today, fine, but please put vegetables. In fact, put 2 types of vegetables. Please add fiber. Please take water. Go take a walk after you're done. When you've done that for a week and you're already feeling better, you'll even be in a better space to actually think, maybe I need to reduce consuming my fries, for example, right? And if you're not doing the right thing right now, or you feel you're already doing so many of those things wrong, it's not the end of the world. We want you to start small and you want to be easy. So as you start on your wellness journey, you don't need to rush. You don't need to have a restrictive diet. You don't need to go fast until you feel like you're going to die. No. And all those things can be done. All I'm saying is simple, easy, accessible to you right now, right here, as we are finishing this meeting, right? So I want to end with this. If you go on to, I would like to give you a guide. Some of those things that I've done, I would like to share a guide that you can use to remind yourself. And it's a free guide that you can download from my website. So if you go into www.winniewtaylor.com, on the front page, I have something that I call the 5 tiny shifts. Let me see if I can get that and share it. That would be a nice, easy guide that can remind you some of these and probably maybe even explain a bit more, some a bit more. There you go. Thank you. There you go. So I have that, and you can get the tiny habits that you can implement. Some of those is what we've already spoken about to start you on the wellness journey. So before you start worrying about what not to eat, what to reduce, how many times in a day to eat, and before you do anything hectic. All right. So that will be easy, and that will be able to help you as we end this, or as I end my part now, right? Which of these habits are you doing? Which one are you struggling with? Which one are you going to start with tonight? And as you throw that in the chat, thank you so much for listening. Thank you for coming. And that information is there. If you need to reach out, you have a question on the website, you should be able to also reach out to me. My email address is it's info@winniewtaylor.com. But on there, go download that 5 tiny shifts. And I hope this has been helpful and that you've learned something. I'm sure you've had a lot of things that you already know, but I'm also sure, or I am hoping, my hope is that you will then, you have learned something that you don't know and you're going to implement that. So I'm going to leave it and open the floor in case there are any questions. And as I wait, I'll hydrate.
Wow, that was awesome. I know some of us, like Owen here, from our culture, we should not leave any food on our plates. So I'm sure it will be tough for us to try to implement this, but we'll manage, yeah?
Yes.
So there's a question here where Susan is asking, speak on inflammation in the gut.
Inflammation in the gut. So one of the biggest challenges, and of course you're a woman in your 40s, inflammation is a reality, and that causes a lot of problems in our lives. So inflammation comes from eating the wrong food. So we're talking about the processed food, the sugars, we're not eating enough vegetables and things like that. And the only way, and by the way, simple things, vegetables is actually one of the easiest way to rid your body of inflammation, right? Any woman here in above 40s, because that's a really area that I am excited about, or I am, and I suppose given my own experience, is you'll also experience the issues we have with just putting on weight, especially in the midsection. A lot of it tends to have to do with inflammation. So you also need to start eating foods that are good and not causing you inflammation. So yes, inflammation is real. I'm not able to give, what are some of the foods that you can eat that don't cause you inflammation? Like I said, if you think of all your vegetables, those will definitely help, including replacing. And when you talk about things like your rice and stuff, let's start thinking more of whole grain. I'll give an example. I love ugali like crazy. You will not believe, guys. I can eat ugali every day of my life, morning, lunch, and dinner, every day of my life. But I found when I do the unga from shags and goa, the ugali even tastes better. So you want to also just do homework, find out what works for you. If you're even able to eat the brown ugali, those are nice. So that's an example of eating it. Today I eat ugali, tomorrow I eat rice, the day after I eat chapati and all that. They are not bad. Things like chapati, of course, the bad thing with the chapati, which our culture consumes a lot of wheat, the bread, the mandazis, the chapatis. The problem is wheat, which is then gluten. The gluten in it is what would give. So, for example, consuming a lot of gluten would definitely give you issues of inflammation. So we are reducing that, and let us start replacing them. Like I said, your sweet potatoes, your ndumas, things like your cereal. Personally now, I cannot even touch your cereal for breakfast. Your Weetabix, your cornflakes, no. My normal breakfast, those who know me know that what I ate for dinner tonight, for example, I had ugali for dinner. Whatever is left is what I'm going to have tomorrow for breakfast. That's how I do my breakfast. And while you're at it, folks, consuming protein makes you last in your body longer as opposed to doing more starches. We are huge consumers of starches or carbs, and we neglect protein. Yeah, so those are some of the things that you can do. So look for foods that are not causing you inflammation. That will resolve a whole lot of your challenges, Susan, if you have any other person. And I can tell you, you definitely. And if you're a woman, perimenopausal, menopausal, and you're having issues also with the inflammation, that's it. And the worst part is a lot of times we walk around not even knowing that we have issues of inflammation in our body. And if you do that, we can also eliminate a lot of diseases and illnesses in our bodies. Okay, so that was a good question. I hope I've answered it satisfactorily. And you can always look up, by the way, you can always look up for foods that are that don't cause inflammation. Any other question?
Thank you so much for that answer. I think from the chat section, I have no other question. Okay. Unless someone has a question that they feel they can unmute and ask, or have the raise your hand, and then we can give you an opportunity to ask. I'm sure now people are wondering on how they can be able to start chewing 10 to 15 times. Yes. When is the right time to eat?
What did you say gut inflammation is? What is inflammation? Susan, type and tell us what is inflammation. Susan, type, tell us what you think inflammation is. It's nice. Yes, I'm a trainer, so I like to answer back with questions. Oh, she can
just unmute. Sorry, I've been afraid to even check. Hi, Winnie. Thanks for the talk. I've been afraid to check because I saw this gut inflammation thing, and I thought, because as you're saying, after your 40s, the midsection is a problem.
Yes.
And it doesn't get any better as the age advances.
Yes.
So I saw that it's caused by gut inflammation, and I was like, note to self, I will check another time. I'm not ready for the information. So actually, I got interested when you're talking about inflammation. So when you're asking, I was like, let me just check.
Okay.
And I've seen it a lot of blah, blah, blah. It's, they say it's an immune response that causes redness and swelling of an area on the body or possibly tissues within the body. So yes, I have read the English, but break it down for me.
So, and the reason I was looking for that is, let's say you're walking, you bump your arm on the chair, on the table, you get inflamed, basically swelling. But it's not just swelling, it's swelling that will come, it could be with redness and stuff like that. And yes, Carrie, we are saying that your body, your internal body experiences the swellings. And that's a challenge. And that is caused by that.
So
meaning when
that is not to the digestion.
Yes. Completely. And your digestion, I want you to think of your colon. So imagine having colon that is inflamed, but because you're not feeling pain and you're not feeling itchy the way you would on another, external part of the body, or even think when you've been stung by a mosquito, like a little thing that, bites you, kidogo, and you get that kadudo, the kabump thing, it's an inflammation, right? An insect walks on you. The redness and all that is inflammation. So an inflammation is your body trying to fight. And if we go back to our sciences and our anatomy and physiology, we are told what? It's your body trying to fight its infection. In fact, another example is when you fever. Usually when we have fever, it means what? Fever doesn't always identify what it is, but fever is your body trying to fight an infection. So swelling is almost the same way. So the inflammation we're talking about is that. So can you imagine you've been experiencing inflammation, then all of a sudden we hit 40. I'm assuming you're in your 40s for you to understand that. Then it gets even worse. And no, I'm not preaching doom. When you hit 45, so if you're not doing the right thing, it doesn't help. And how do you balance that? Diet is a big deal. Guys, cutting off things like wheat. I'm not saying don't eat wheat. Cut it. Look at the timings. Listen to your body. I'll tell you now, if I eat a chapati, if I eat bread or any of those things in the evenings, I even wake up feeling like you have a hangi, groggy, because my body cannot handle that. But I can actually eat it in the morning. If I have choice between bread and a chapo, I'll eat chapo because I think it tastes better and I love chapos. But unfortunately, my age, being a woman of a certain age, is not allowing me to enjoy that anymore. That's one. Things like when you eat beans, normal, for Kikuyus here, you'd know, the kawairimos, you know, those boshos, those beans that had nice, beautiful names in the village. Kina kawairimo, and I don't know me, they give me gas. So I cannot enjoy, and they're good for me. I mean, beans ideally should be good for me. So now it doesn't matter how good they are. If my body does not agree with it, it will be a problem. So the issues of inflammation, the more I'm eating those things, the more it's causing me issues and it's a problem. So what do? Can I look for beans? So for me, what works? The things like your butter beans, those work very well for me. That I'm able to do. Lentils, those work very well for me. Those I'm able to do. So it's also calling for, and this is why we don't like handing you, it's you to go experiment. I've eaten this, what have I felt? In a day, don't try 3 different things. Decide today, I'm only going to do beans and I'll wait. Let's see how my body feels. Then you make a mental note. And I promise you guys, your body is always talking to you, and you know how that goes, right?
Thanks for that. So what,
you.
yes, it does. Thank you so much. So what if you're doing all those things? You're not taking, much wheat, you're balancing your diet, you're hydrating, and still you're inflamed because of the age factor.
Age should not make you be inflamed by itself. It's a thing that we are doing or not doing, and it could be needing to do more. Like movement. Are we moving enough? When I say moving, if you're exercising maybe twice a week, maybe you need to increase. And I'm saying, I gave exercising, and I'm giving the most easily accessible to any of us. If you're walking and maybe you only walk 10 minutes, you probably maybe need to increase it to 15. And eventually maybe increase it to 20. And I understand sometimes it could be just planning depending on your life. It could be the weekends where you have more time and you're able to walk more, right? I live not too far off Gong Road, and I know there was a time I used to go to Impala Club, and they would only charge 200 bob for you to just get in and walk there, the track. And it was amazing. So I will be able to do that on weekends because then I had more time. So then on top of that, Susan, for a woman, then perimenopausal, menopausal, the other thing is actually going to see a doctor and letting them do your hormone profile. Find out, do you need to go on hormone replacement therapy? And I know there was a lot of negative information back in the day. Today's science is very clear. If our challenge or your problem is hormone related, you need help with that. Could it be that you need supplements? But instead, how do we do that? It's actually, oh, Susan, this is working, you try. Jane tomorrow tells you, oh, this is working, then you try. Nancy tells you a different story. So we are saying, instead of just going by what people are saying, are you actually feeding your body with what it needs? So if you're eating healthy, and eating healthy, Susan, also, I want you to vegetables. When you say vegetables, if this was a plate, I'm actually going to draw this. Let me draw this. Veggies, proteins, I'm showing you now. Good luck reading my handwriting, but you'll be able to see, you get the gist of it. This big portion is your vegetables. The bigger portion on our plate needs to be vegetables. And this is why I'm saying, make it exciting. You have carrots, you have cabbage, you have greens. Today, greens could be spinach. Tomorrow could be managu. It could be mchicha. It could be a more combination. Today can be butternut, carrots, and some greens. It could be cabbage, something. Get it exciting. Then the other part is your protein, and your smaller part is always your portion. I mean, your carbs. One of the ways, Susan, if you saw a doctor, a good doctor, maybe a gynae or somebody, a doctor who would do hormone profile, you might end up initially being even put off carbs and things like that just to get your gut to heal. Then you restart again. Right? So I hope that's helpful.
Absolutely. The last part answers it completely.
Excellent, super.
Mhm.
And you have my information if you need us to explore that a little bit more. But even when it comes to, and by the way, I have a friend, I haven't tried them and I'm going to try them. I'm told hospital, and I can see it at the back of my mind directly. Is it inside Nairobi Hospital? Is it opposite Nairobi Hospital? There's that place where they have I think it's a nursing school. I do know there should be some endocrinologists. So if your gyna is old school and doesn't want to do these things, you could actually go see an endocrinologist, doctors who specialize in your endocrine system. That's your whole hormone system. Right? So that could be, maybe that's what one needs to do. So before we worry about don't eat this, don't eat the other, and you're drinking water and you're moving. The other thing also, another secret I'm going to throw out there, we need to start toning our bodies. I want to say weight training, and not building, not weight lifting, but weight training. Even if you run, we are getting depleted, for lack of a better word. I used to be nice and toned, and now I can see it's like I'm almost begging my body to keep it together. So weight training, and it can be light weights, it could be too small weights at home, it could be your body weight, Pilates and exercises like that. The more we also tone our body, the more our body is in a better position. For any woman here 40s and above, I'm sorry, I don't have good news. There's no two ways about it. You could be running all you want, you could be doing all this cardio all you want, but you must do weight training for toning your body, to build your body. It's one of the other things that will also help. So the more, for us, exercising is no longer an option. You can't say, oh, I'm too busy, I don't have the time. You create the time. How, I don't know. If you're going to be holding a child and, doing the weights and squatting, holding them, please do it.
Please also tell me it applies to the men.
Oh, of course, the men. I'm just saying, unfortunately. No.
Okay.
Of course, the men. I mean, if you look at anybody 40s and above, for men, what are we even starting to see? A guy, the minute they're getting the capote, it's just the society, the way we live in our society, we've made it look nice when a guy has a bit of a katumbo, right? That's not looked at the same way. It's also very important for their health, right? It just, for us women, because of hormones and the menopause thing, it just becomes a bit of an extra layer of a challenge for us. So, but that's very important. But if you do that, you'll be good, including, I'm sure you guys have been seeing up all these craze with the Ozempics, all these GLP medications. Even that, anybody taking that, whether because of diabetes or because they're taking it for weight loss and everything, you must do weight training. It's the only way your body will respond better to these things.
Thank you very much, Winnie.
You're welcome.
Winnie, maybe before we finalize, there's a question on when is the right time to eat?
When is the right time to eat? Once again, it depends on everybody's body, meaning you don't have a specific time. And I'll give, for example, I leave, because of traffic in this crazy city of ours, I leave the house at 6:30 in the morning. Believe you me, guys, by then I've had my breakfast. 6 in the morning, utanipata na ugali, or whatever it is that I ate for dinner. I know a lot of people who cannot stomach that in the morning. So I would say, go by your body, go by the work you do, right? When I used to do a lot of massages, I needed energy like crazy. In fact, I remember many years ago trying to fast and I couldn't fast, because how was I going to be standing and giving massages all day and I've not eaten? And it did not make sense, right? And the faith angle of things will tell you that you're not fasting, then you're not as very and what have you. So really, there's no prescribed. What I'm calling everybody to do is go back and start reconnecting with your body, right? Just like some people say, me, I only eat 2 times a day. There's nothing wrong with you eating 3 times a day. Eating the right amount of proportions and balancing it out. Vegetables, I am begging you, eat your vegetables even in the morning. Simple, get red, yellow color, all the sort of colors. Eat that with your boiled egg or even fried egg if you like that. That's a nice breakfast, easy, nothing fancy. Doesn't need to be complicated. So you're in the office, you bought sausage because you didn't have anything else. enda nunua with spinach at the same time. Have your sausage and have your spinach. That's what I'm saying. Sausage is a processed food. I'm assuming we are not consuming a lot of that. But even when you do, add and, balance it with something that's good for you and for your body. Would say things like take your yogurts, they are good. But people who have dairy allergies will struggle with the yogurts, right? And even when you do yogurts, try and go for those ones that are high in protein. So there is no specific time or the right time. Your body always tells you when is the right time. If I don't eat lunch, because sometimes I'm so busy, I try to leave town by 3 because our office is, the school is in town. By the time I get home, if I'm lucky and I get home at 4, that's when I'll have both my lunch and my dinner, meaning I have that one meal and I don't eat again. But I am also very old school. I cannot go to bed before I have a cup of tea. And my tea, truth, I take it with milk and I take it with sugar. So the sugar in the tea is not the problem if I'm eating the wrong things, if I'm eating the right things. But if I'm taking 10 cups of tea a day, then that's a lot of sugar, right? So it is that there's no right time. Your body knows. For somebody who is working out, we can't say the same amount of time. Women, once again, our 40s, we're finding that to small portions. It's almost like our stomachs are physically getting bigger, but inside they are small. We can't seem to take much. My younger counterpart, my nieces and nephews who are in their 20s, are able to consume a lot more. And I promise you, your body. So there's no specific time. I don't want to prescribe a specific time. Find the right time when your body is ready to eat, and then try, because also you don't want to be too rigid. I eat at 1, so now therefore if I can't eat at 1, I'm not going to eat, because it might be 1 and you're not feeling hungry. You'd rather delay later but eat the right thing. I hope that answers that question.
Wow. I think there are no more questions on the chat section. Maybe. Oh, how much do you take for your sessions? There's Mumbi. Yeah.
Mumbi Kamau has asked how much I'm charging for coaching sessions. So I'm actually just finalizing on the coaching prices. Mumbi, please, if you don't mind, send me an email. I should be able to give you the prices by next week, please.
Mumbi, I think you can see the email is up here.
Yeah, info@winnywtaylor.com. I should be able to have, and any other person who might be interested in the coaching. And please note, my coaching method, we are not prescribing. It's a lot of behavioral change as opposed to prescribing a diet. Okay. She got it.
As we finalize, Winnie,
yes.
Maybe tell us about what By Winnie does and a parting shot for this session.
Great. So By Winnie Training Institute is a beauty and wellness school. We are located in town in the CBD. When we say beauty and wellness, and I bent the camera so I can show off my logo over here, we don't do hair. In fact, I joke I don't have any, so that's why we don't do cosmetology. Your regular schools will do cosmetology and beauty or something, but when you say cosmetology is hair and beauty, we do beauty and wellness. So anything from face down, face, nails, spa treatments, massages, and things like that. But the approach we take is that of holistic. You'll find, and once again, women here who are over 40, you will find you've taken good care of yourself, but there are changes happening on your face that are affecting you. And a lot of times, that's why I said it's internal. So that's what the school does. But within the school, we abbreviate By Winnie Training Institute as BWTI. We have a BWTI beauty studio. We have a beauty studio where we offer services, namely your massages, your body contouring or weight loss services, your facials, all those things. We offer that. You would find that information. It's on the website By Winnie Training Institute, including the services. Then coaching is something I'm doing under me. That's why I have a different website for that. But even that, I haven't put the prices and everything. But yes, the website is still being worked on. And if you also go, those of you who end up downloading that, you end up on the mailing list where we can be sharing information. But basically, I talk about skin health, I talk about wellness, I talk about basically holistic wellness, including self-development, because a lot of times, whether we're struggling with our self-confidence issues, whether we're needing to work on refinement and things like your self-leadership, all those are bundled up together. So in a nutshell, I like to, and if you look at my website, what it says is innovating beauty and inspiring evolution, because that's the only constant thing that we're able to do. My parting shot, you can heal your body through food. So that's it.
Thank you so much, Winnie. Thank you for the session. I give the program back to Skylar and Shayla.
Thank you so much, Jay. Wow, I think I never knew there was so much correlation with food. So thank you so much, Winnie. We really appreciate. And before we just, I know we were supposed we've gone past our time, but at least we have not gone empty-handed. So thank you so much. And then before we just leave, we have a number of events coming up. So next week on Saturday, we'll be all heading to Oldonyo Sabuk, where we'll be having the hike. So on 11th October, we'll be going to Oldonyo Sabuk and 14 Falls. The prices are only 2,599. So this will cater for your transport, your tour guide, entrance fee, your lunch, visit to 14 Falls, and also a professional photography. And please note, so if you're attending, kindly carry your ID and a bottle of water. So don't come with the plastic bottles. Just carry these reusable bottles. Yeah, then the other one is we are running a program called Ignite Career Training Program. Right now, currently we've done cohort 1, cohort 2 just ended, and Tuesday next week we'll be starting cohort 3. So investment is only 2,000 shillings. So you can so during the program you learn on how to optimize your LinkedIn. So what is ATS, compliance CVs and cover letters, interview coaching. So how do you conduct yourself during interviews, and also how do we strategically conduct job search and application. So all of this people are learning at the Ignite training program. So secure a spot today at only 2,000 shillings. Yes, I think that's all from me.